Yo, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to a Monday edition of MoBetta Trading. I'm your host as always, MrMoBetta. And today, guys, we're going to be getting into the Bitcoin chart, talking about some altcoins, what Ethereum is looking like, what everything is kind of looking like right now. I know there's been a lot of panic on the timeline. There's been a lot of it's so overs, bull market's done, yada yada. And we're just gonna I'm gonna take a look at these charts. I'm gonna give you a breakdown of how I see things going right now and what I think is going to happen throughout the duration of the week, throughout the next month or so. We'll get into all of that. And yeah, so if you're in here, if you have questions, anything like that, drop some questions, drop some comments. Make sure you're taking notes. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this thing, right? So as y'all can see here, Bitcoin has just been in a straight line the fuck up, essentially. Straight line up, right? We are uptrending, boom, straight line up. There's been some dips along the way, but since about 70,000, it has been, or 75,000, we've just straight line marched up. We've been consolidating for the last several weeks now, since about the beginning of July, right? The beginning of July, we had this really massive push up into 120,000. We spiked above it, got to about 123,000, and it's since just kind of been moving sideways, right? Y'all can see that we are moving sideways, right? Price is not going up or down, it's just moving sideways. So I know there's been a lot of fear on the timeline, a lot of panic setting in. People think that the market is over, the bull market is over, like that Bitcoin has hit its top, blah blah blah. I personally just don't see it that way, right? What I'm seeing right now is, first off, we had a perfect back test of this previous breakout level, right? If you move it up to this previous high at about 111,980. The low here was 111,920, which we hit to end last month, right? This was the end of the month for July, this weekly candle, and we had some selling off, right? We had some profits being taken. Sorry if y'all can hear, I'm sure y'all can hear my baby in the background. She's giving my wife hell right now. But anyways, so we had a perfect back test of this previous breakout level, right? 111,980 was the high here. 111,920 was the retest, okay? And we have since bounced off. We're sitting at about $114,850. Now this is on the weekly time frame, right? So the way I see things, we have now created, or we're in the process of creating a support. We had a very weak close below this previous weekly level, right? We didn't have a strong body close. The candle did not close near the bottom half, or near the bottom end, I should say, of the previous weekly candle. So that gives me an idea that we still have room to move up until or unless $111,920 is broken. There's nothing bearish about this structure, in my personal opinion, right? And so we can go on to we'll just go ahead and mark this area out as our resistance right now on the weekly level. We'll denominate that with the simple blue line, okay? And so let's go ahead and drop down into our daily. Now again, this is Bitcoin on the weekly chart. Weekly still strongly intact right now. We're just consolidating, moving back and forth between 111,920 and about $123,218. All right. So drop down onto the daily time frame, get a little bit better context, see what we can kind of make out of the price action currently. Okay, so as you can see here, this blue line is a pretty hard cap. For resistance, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attempts to break through this weekly level, and we rejected off. Came and filled the gap, right? Again, back tested the previous breakout level, previous all-time high area, damn near to the fucking pinpoint, and had a good reaction off of it, right? So this is Sunday's candle. This is Monday's candle finishing out here. Monday's candle is kind of weak, right? Nothing to be too excited about. The only way that we're going to continue moving up is if we can break Tuesday's high at 115,143, right? That's 127, okay? So we would need to break this candle's high in order to continue moving up and fill this wick. But as you can see, we still got a lot of work to do, right? we would be coming also into an underside retest up here. So I would say about 117,500, 118,000 thereabouts is really the area that we need to get above and hold, right? So we would need to get above here and kind of hold up here in order to continue moving higher. But in the immediate term, what do we see happening? All right, well, we've formed some sort of resistance on lower time frames here. Obviously, we've rejected off from that level. We're developing a bearish candle right now, but until or unless we break below $114,105 thereabout, $107, there's no reason to believe that we're going to continue coming lower. Now, it's possible that we do, it's possible that we come and retest this lower end, right? Maybe we get something like that just comes down like this, boom, wicks down and then comes back up. But the way I see it right now, we have created support here. As long as this support stays intact, go ahead and just highlight this area with the little box, right? And I'll keep this blue line here just because this was the exact retest level. But on lower time frame, we'll drop in and see how this shaded area is looking. This is just an area of interest, right? This is an area of interest. Now, for me, the only way that I'm going to get positioned long at this point is if we form a resistance candle, so a bearish candle on a higher time frame, so on the daily or on the 4 hour, something like that. Preferably on the daily, we get some sort of bearish development, some sort of bearish candle to develop without penetrating below the previous bullish candle, and then we can get a break above the bearish candle's high to continue pushing up, right? That is the simplistic way to look at it. It is the simplest method and easiest way to confirm that a candle is in an up or a downtrend, or that price is in an up or a downtrend. We're respecting lows and breaking highs, we're in an uptrend. If we're respecting highs and breaking lows, we're in a downtrend. Pretty fucking simple, right? Pretty fucking simple to me. So let me take this off real quick. We'll go ahead and drop this down into the 4 hour. Again, as y'all can see, we have formed a resistance here. And I'll make this line yellow just so we know that that's a current daily resistance. Okay, and on the daily time frame, okay, actually look at this. So this is actually a pretty good area of interest here. Spike below. We spiked below support, immediately reversed off of it, and have traded from 112,000 up to 115, 116,000 almost. So about a $4,000 bounce from last week's low. Now, if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, well, how do I get positioned? I don't know how I would trade this. Am I short or am I long? If you don't know how you should be positioned, then you shouldn't be positioned. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is, okay, if you were to get short here, where would you be running into local support areas that might make the trade a little bit turbulent? Well, you have turbulence right below it. You have turbulence right below that. You have turbulence right below that. And only below about 114,000, which is the previous daily low, do you have a clean run of bullish candles all the way back to support, right? Now, it doesn't mean that it would have to come all the way back to support, but it could easily whap and then reverse, right? Take out some of this liquidity and then reverse from there. So the only way that I'm going to be getting positioned at this point is if we trade back into these areas where we previously broke out, right? As you can see, we formed a resistance, broke down, boom, we breaking above this previous resistance area, retested it, created it as support. Hopefully y'all can see that. Let me just mark this out. This was previous resistance. Let me make this was resistance. Boom. Hit this area, formed a bearish candle. Boom. Dropped lower. This support became invalidated. Tried to break through here. Boom. Traded back through this resistance area. Closed above it. Okay. And now have turned this resistance into support. So you can wait for a couple of different things to happen. you can wait to see if price will trade back into here and form some sort of consolidation before moving higher, holding this area here as support, or you can wait for, oops, let me turn that back green, or you can wait for price to break above this area, boom, maybe even close above this wick strongly. Strongly is emphasized. You would need a strong candle close that closes bullish above this area of resistance, and then what do you have? Well, by golly, goddamn it, you got a motherfucking range of about $3,000. $3,000 where you can effectively take a very strong probability, high probability trade back towards an area of resistance, right? Now, you could target all the way back to 120K, but you're likely to see some sort of resistance before 120K. And seeing all the interaction here at about 118K might be a good area to look to de-risk a little bit and wait for confirmations to go higher. Because at the end of the day, what could happen is you trade into this range, right? Say you get this break and then you trade up higher, and then you just kind of stall out here, and then you maybe dip back below, and then maybe we get up in here, maybe dip back below. Like, it could range for fucking ever, right? And we've seen Bitcoin do this all the time. I mean, look at how long it's been ranging since it pushed up to 123K. It's been ranging for almost 3 weeks, right? So it could look something like this. Who the fuck knows what it's going to look like? But this would be an area up here where you would want to look to start taking profits initially, if not even lower than that, in my opinion, depending on how price were to develop. But if you were to get a strong candle close, boom, and you were to get it to hold above this area, then we could take a trade up to the next resistance area, which would be around 118,000, 119,000. All right. On the other hand, if you get something like this to develop where price pushes up into here and then rejects and accepts below here and cannot break and close above 117,000, like $750, then you would expect that it's just going to keep going sideways. And this is kind of like this to me right here is a no trade zone. We're going to go hit this big old X. If you weren't involved down here, you don't want to get involved in here, because in here, price can literally go here and then up, and then it can go here, and then it can go here, and then it can go here. Like, price can do fucking anything, right? There's not a high probability setup at this point. So for me, here, this is a big fat no trade zone. Okay? What you're looking for is, if we are indeed in a hyper bullish scenario, it should be no issue for price to break and close above previous resistance, and then to continue trading up to fill this gap, to fill this run of clean candles. If we are just going to consolidate, then we're not ready to move higher. And until we break below 114,000, we're also not ready to move lower. So what that means is you just sit on your hands and you do nothing until something becomes available. Okay? So for me, again, that would look like price getting up here, boom, 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 and then filling this gap pretty quickly. Maybe not even quickly. You kind of want it to get up here, create some sort of consolidation, and then move up. But if it were to move up quickly, you'd want to see it, get a really fast leg up into here. And instead of just selling back off, right, you'd want to see it get up into here and then maybe sell off a little bit and hold and just grind its way up. So that way price is not breaking lower and effectively creating a bull flag to break up and break out. Okay, that would be the most ideal scenario here, in my opinion. You break up, consolidate, boom, move up, fill this gap quickly, consolidate here, don't break lower, and then boom, get off to the races for the duration of August. That is the most ideal scenario, in my opinion. Okay, so now what would invalidate this What would invalidate the bullish structure, the bullish thesis, would be, again, if price were to close like this, boom, say we just on the next candle fucking torpedoed, nuked our way all the way down. I say nuke, but it's not really nuke. But if we were to nuke and close below this area of support we've created, and the next candle were to wick up, respect this high, and then trade lower, then we could fill this area here back towards 112,000. Maybe we spike it and then move our way up and continue moving up, right? There's several different scenarios. First off, there's an infinite number of scenarios that could possibly happen, but there has to be a very limited number of scenarios where you're willing to get involved, right? And for me, my willingness to get involved revolves around closing above $115,750 or closing below 114,000 some odd dollars. 114,000 probably even would be a good place for us to start. Until either of those happens, I have no interest in getting into a position at all. Now, if we were to get down below here, again, like I said, if we were to say we start trading down below here and, oh my God, it looks so ugly. Holy shit, this looks terrible. Oh, we're going to fucking 100,000, and then boom, we close something like this with a wick straight through. Say we get like a long wick, right? Long wicks are always better. No diddy. Something like this, and then price were to respect this low, so we push down here, right? Boom, push down, and then reverse that and whoop, break up above this high. Say we got something like this, right? Oh shit, man. I'm gonna turn that. Well, I mean, you get the fucking color of it, whatever. Just for congruency's sake. If we were to get something like this, okay, then I know now if the next candle breaks down, boom. Oh, whoops. I was like, what the hell is going? Breaks down, boom. Respects this low, and then continues breaking above this high, then I can get involved right here with the defined area stop below this wick, because if price is bullish, it will not break a bullish candle low, and then it can continue pushing up, and maybe I get a close above here, and now I've got one position, and if it closes strong above here and does the same thing, now I can even increase my position. If we break above here and get a close above, now I can even increase my position, increase my exposure, and trail my stops on the way up until we fill this fucking gap over here, right? That's how I would be looking to get involved. If we were to fail to create a strong bearish structure below 114K, again, if we were to spike below it but close above this area of support, which is also the previous daily candle's low, then we could continue our march up. And I would be looking to get involved in a candle that breaks above a bearish candle high, right? Breaking above a bearish candle high means that your bullish structure is intact. Typically. Not always, but typically. I know people who were involved in Sunday's cascade will be like, well, it broke above Saturday's, or Sunday's candle broke above Saturday's high, and then it fucking nuked on Monday. Yeah, well, that's because it's a weekend move. So if you're involved in a weekend move, that's on you, right? I don't know how many times y'all need to see a weekend move get eviscerated before you stop getting involved in weekend moves. Okay? So that's how I'm looking at it right now. We have a lot of air above 115,700. We have a little air below 114,000. My main conviction is that we're going higher, so I would like to see more bullish structure develop at these range highs and bust up out of here. All right, so cool. I think this was an excellent bear trap. Everybody is fucking thumbing their assholes. All these bears are fucking fingers up the ass, fucking just going crazy. Oh my God, I was right. Oh, we're so right on a fucking 2% drop, 5% drop. Bitcoin dropped 5% and immediately started rebounding, and bears are fucking getting off on themselves, which is why they get wrecked and they have no money left, because they're fucking stupid, right? They're celebrating price going up 500% in the last 2 years. They're celebrating a fucking 5% sell-off. That is why their portfolios are at fucking zero, right? Now, day trading, trading structural moves or structural shifts or whatever is different. But perma bears get fucking anally victimized every single time. And they will always get anally victimized, period. Period. Because forever, Bitcoin will increase in purchasing power against the dollar. Now, that's why if you're not a day trader, you just buy Bitcoin and wait for the dollar to fucking inevitably cascade against Bitcoin and Bitcoin's price to inevitably go higher over the duration of forever, right? That's why if you don't have Bitcoin, you just buy Bitcoin. Doesn't matter how much fucking Bitcoin you want to buy, how much Bitcoin you can buy, how much Bitcoin you should buy. Just buy whatever you can afford to and hold that bitch for fucking ever, damn near. Until there's a reason not to, okay? But for trading's sake, this is what we're looking at. All right, I don't need to repeat myself for the 75th time, but y'all understand what it is that I'm looking for, okay? Now, with that being said, let's move to Ethereum. Ethereum's chart is actually looking incredibly strong, which you don't really get to say very often. I mean, shit, for fucking a year plus, this shit was in a straight line the fuck down. Fucking straight line down from December, not a year plus, but for a long ass fucking time, right? Really, for a long ass time, it has been straight down, because since November of 2021, when it reached its all-time high, it's just been capped below 4K, essentially. Okay, but for the first time, look at what we're getting here. We've got 3 taps on this $4,000 level, and we're approaching it again. Now, just as it would be on a lower time frame, it is the same and inevitably more powerful on, or I should say, immeasurably more powerful on the higher time frame. The more times an area gets tested, the more likely it is to break. It has been tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, coming up on 7-ish, 8-ish. The 9th or 10th time that this motherfucking level gets approached, it is going to get breached violently. And that is where inevitably I believe altcoins and Ethereum specifically right now are pointed up. The direction, the candles are telling you the direction. The direction is fucking up. This was the first correction that we've had since late June. For a month straight, we went straight line the fuck up. And again, bears are getting off thumbing their assholes at 3 days of bearish price action. Okay? Think about that. 30 days up, 3 days of bearish price action, and bears are fucking beating themselves off in their little fucking gay bear circles. Okay? So what have we done? We've created support. On the daily. Again, had the same sell-off. Everything, I'm not going to go over the sell-off on all these fucking coins because everything moves with Bitcoin, period. And Bitcoin sold off, so everything else sells off, right? But the rebound on Ethereum has been very strong, right? We sold off about 15%. We've recovered 12% already. Okay, and that is on one Monday candle. All right, so now again, same thing like what we wanted to see on Bitcoin. I think Ethereum even looks a little bit more enticing We're creating resistance here on the lower time frame, so we'll go on to the 4 hour. We are smack running into the previous breakdown level, so it's natural to get some rejection off of here. But this is a good thing, in my opinion, because why? What do I want to see? Well, I want to see a retracement. Whether it just stops here, whether it breaks these lows, doesn't really matter. As long as we are above 33.76, there's nothing bearish. There's no reason for me to get involved bearishly. Maybe even if we, on the 4 hour, we could break below 35.50, but then you got a mess down here. Then you have 33.75 as an area, again, where price would bounce. But for now, all I'm waiting for, boom, say this candle were to finish out right here, right? This would be perfect. If it finished out here and tomorrow during US session or during some session, whatever fucking session, doesn't matter whether it's US, London, if we get a break above this candle's high, but this bearish candle's high, and we close above it, that is a trigger to go long. And you have resistance here. You know, you have some minor resistance here. I would think that in this scenario, that the more important area of resistance is going to be right here. Right? So we'd have to see how we react here to this recent high that we've created. But if we were to get a candle to break above here, boom, you got clean candle run all the way up until about 38.70, right? And more than likely you would just blow through 38.70 and kind of just test this 3900 area, right? So that's a really good run of candles. You wouldn't even necessarily have to hold all the way up here. You could close 90% of your position. Say it comes out and takes, you know, price comes out and takes this liquidity here, takes this liquidity here, and takes this liquidity here. Okay, well, maybe now I want to just start de-risking, close 80-90% of the position, and just wait to see if we're going to consolidate here and break up, or if we're going to spike and rotate back down, right? But that's all obviously predicated on the idea that we get a candle to close above 37.30. A strong candle close above 37.30, in my opinion, would inevitably lead to filling this gap pretty quickly. On the other hand, if we were to get a strong candle, say the candle closed strongly, right? But it closed something like this, exactly where it is, with no wicks, right? Say it closed with no wicks and it couldn't take out this high, then you would say, okay, well, maybe price is ready to rotate back down a little bit, find some support, and then come back up. Okay. We'll just have to see how price develops over the next few days, over the week, right? And over the next couple of weeks into August. I know August and September are typically not great months for crypto, which is exactly why it would be even more hilarious to see gay bears get gay confidence in this tight ass pullback and just get fucking eviscerated in August, assuming that August and September are going to be bad months. Maybe it doesn't happen, but part of me thinks that that's probably what's in line, right? That's probably what is in line. Okay, so again, there's nothing interesting for me to do right now. I have no interest in getting in a position at this point. We've already moved up again 12% off the lows. Getting into a long position when you're 12% off the lows is the fastest way for you to have your fucking portfolio wrecked, right? Without some sort of confirmation. You know, we need a pullback. We need a bearish candle to create support. After we've already created resistance, break the resistance, and then we can be off to the races, and that would be a good trade idea. Okay, but until we get that, you just wait, right? Because inevitably, or ultimately, price could just get here and could just tighten, and then boom, right? Now we start making something like this would be excellent. I would love to see something like this develop, right? But We'll just have to see. Okay. Cool. So Ethereum, I would be, if we break out of here, honestly, I would be first targeting 3,900, but my ultimate target would probably be about 4,000, 4,100, something like that. My ultimate target to look to start de-risking to maybe get some selling, depending on how price ramps up, right? If we just got like a fucking dildo candle like we got over earlier, right? Like if we just start getting candles like this where we're just fucking printing massive candles and there's no reason to close your position, right? You just trail it all the way. Just trail it. Because if price is going to continue moving up, it's not going to break your lows. It's not going to break your bullish lows. It's just going to continue moving up. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. To keep it simple, we buy above here, and if we reject here, right? Like if we say we get a candle that, like we get a shooting star forming or something like that, so we get a really long wick, small body, and then price pushes up and then breaks back below and breaks below this low. Okay, then we could probably come back down and fill some of this area, right? Into here. But until we get some bearish structure forming locally, there's nothing bearish about these moves. So I have no interest in shorting. Okay, cool. There is Ethereum. We'll go Solana. I'm going to make this very, 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 very fast because everything is already kind of predicated and discussed, right? The rest of the market is going to move as Bitcoin and as Ethereum moves. Until those two move in a way that you want to see it move, nothing else will, right? So, again, here on Solana, we are forming some resistance. We have some support formed down here at about $162. So this is our current range right now. Right? And you could trade within this range if you find it reasonable to trade within. Again, price gets back down to $162. You would look for some bullish PA to develop down here. Otherwise, you wait for price to break above this high. Price breaks above this high. And we have all this room here to come and fill until our next area of resistance. Right? So you either wait for, we either have potential buys above, and then we have buys down here would be MoBetta. Buys down here would be MoBetta because you have a higher reward and a lower risk factor. Buys in this area will be MoBetta. Now, if we are in a truly bullish environment, we will not get the chance to buy back down here. Bull markets and bullish, hyper bullish moves, parabolic moves do not give participants a chance to enter at good prices. They just leave without you. If they give you a chance to enter at good prices without liquidating your account, like it did, for a lot of people here, I would imagine. If it's giving you a chance to buy in lower, that likely means that price is just going to continue moving lower, right? Like you got the dip down here, price said, oh, okay, we're going to move up higher. Nope. Okay, well now we're getting into a support area. We should be moving up higher. Nope. Okay, we're back into support. We should be moving higher. Nope. Now we've really formed support. We should be moving higher. Nope. If it's going to move higher, it's going to go straight the fuck like this. Straight like this. Right? It's not going to move sideways and give you a chance to move in and to get in down here if it's going to move higher immediately, right? It's gonna wish-wash around, spike up. Oh, everybody's buying. Oh, we're going higher. Nope. Oh, we're going higher. Nope. Oh, we're going higher. Nope. Right? That's what price does when it wants to go lower. It gives the illusion of wanting to go higher before going lower. When it wants to move higher, it gives the illusion of moving lower without actually creating any structural lows, and then just blows the fuck out. All right? So that's what we would rather see. So we got potential buys above here that would take us to about $182 or so. Bullish developments on 162 would be great. If we were to form or close below $162, that would not be great, and then maybe you could look for some downside targets. But we'll have to see when that time comes. Okay. And last but not least, we'll get to XRP. I think XRP again looks like one of the strongest rebound coins that people hate. They hate it. They fucking hate it. And that's why I think it inevitably continues to move higher. Now, I think it's kind of funny because XRP pushed to 360, made a new all-time high, and instead of holding above the all-time high level, just came fucking wrecked. Anybody positioned long from this area of support that thought we were just gonna move into price discovery and go higher, boom, fucking wrecked. Came back down and touched about $2.70, 273, 274 about, and has since rebounded. We're sitting at 305 right now. Its previous all-time high was around $3.40, right? So it broke down, boom, broke down. Now we found some support. So as we see it right now, as long as XRP is above $2.73, 75 cents or so, this is bullish structure. Now we do have some resistance on XRP right overhead here at about 325. Also at about 314. So let's go ahead and jump into the lower time frame. So we'll get into the 4 hour. The 4 hour lines up pretty good, right? So this one is kind of it's a tricky one to navigate in the sense that it's not as clean and clear cut. Like we don't have as clean a candle runs for XRP as we did for Solana, Ethereum, or Bitcoin until about $3.30. Now we get above $3.30 and we have a clean run about 25 cents up to 355. Inevitably, we'll probably retest the all-time high it just created. So at about 366 or so, what was it at? The all-time high at about 366.07 is likely to be retested. And if we break above that, then we're in price discovery and it's to Valhalla, right? But until we can get price to break and close above here, there's no telling whether we're just going to continue ranging or we're going to be ready to break out. We need price to break and close above this area to signal that we're ready to move back towards all-time highs, right? Otherwise, XRP can just kind of meander around for a little bit. You know, who knows how this price action develops, but I think if it's going to get out of here and get out of here within the next couple of weeks, we will continuously see it printing higher lows. So it may pull back, but I think it grinds up into this area and then boom, gets up out of here. Okay, that would be ideal for XRP, in my opinion, is for it to continue a slow grind up, creating higher highs and higher lows into this area of resistance, building a strong base all the way up, and then inevitably firing out. That would be what I would like to see personally. Okay. And then I think we retest 366, and once we get through 366, a straight shot to $4, $5 would not surprise me. Okay, maybe we see $5, maybe we see $4.50, and then we get to see some pullbacks happening, whatever. There's going to be pullbacks along the way. It's not going to go in a straight line up, though it did go in a straight line the fuck up from $2.25 to $3.66, right? Like this was like an 80% increase. Oh shit. 61%. 61% from 225 straight to 360. Okay, so it makes sense that we got a pullback. Now, this pullback was pretty deep. I don't typically use Fibonacci's, but if you were to look at it on the Fib, we basically got a perfect 618-702 retracement right in that little pocket and bounced perfectly back up to 382. Now, if you're a Fib trader, you could wait for it to come back to the 0.5 area and boom, boom. You know, you see you got 450 as one target, $4 even as one target, 365 would be the return to all-time highs, or 366, right? So, yeah, that's how I'm looking at that. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, the other coin that I'm going to look at that is just me personally, that is a personal interest of mine. I've seen it pop up a lot more on the timeline lately, but I've been following Casbah for the longest time. I've been following Casbah for a very long time, back when it was 2.5 cents. So it's pretty incredible to see where it's at, as far as from where it began just a few years ago. And yeah, I really think that this is going to be a really strong coin, not only during this bull market, but for the future. Based on my own research that I've done on it, I think it has a lot of potential. Now, you know, whether that potential realizes itself or whether it just ends up folding on itself, you know, we'll never know. But, you know, Casbah has previously reached an all-time high of about 21 cents. Where is it? 21 cents? Yeah, about 21 cents. And is currently trading at about 8 cents. So even to get back towards all-time high, an all-time high from where it was, is a almost 300% gain. So almost a 4x. And just for it to get back to all-time highs from where it currently is about 130%. Right? So about 130%, whatever. Okay, so Casbah took a nasty fucking dive. Fell about 30%. 32% is sold off. 32%. That's a nasty ass pullback. But those kind of things are what you experience in altcoins. Okay? But what we have created is some support down here. We created support down here at about 8 cents, give or take. We have resistance created for the severalth time. Severalth, yes. That is now a word. You're welcome. You are allowed to use it. For the severalth time, we've gotten up to about 12 cents and rejected pretty strongly off of it. Rejected strongly off it here, rejected strongly off it here. Now, me personally, I do think that Casbah not only trades the all-time highs, I think it gets through its all-time highs eventually. So how I want to be positioned into this right now, we have support, right, obviously being created. If we drop down on the 4 hour, we have some resistance on the 4 hour here at about 9.5 cents. And as we're seeing it right now, we're pushing above this Monday high. Now, I'd want to see with some volume. I'd want to see some volume kick in to be able to push us back towards 9.5 cents about, right? But this is a clean run. Even if you're looking, okay, hello, thank you. Even if we're looking at things from here, right? We had created a resistance. This is a perfect example of what I mean. We created a resistance. We had a candle close through and above this resistance. And now this candle is breaking above a bullish candle that broke above a bearish resistance, and it has a clean run. I think that this will get to 9.5 cents rather swiftly. Okay. So whether it gets here and stalls out and pulls back, or maybe we just grind here and boom, pull out, break out, I should say. We'll have to see. We have another resistance around 10 cents, and then from 10 cents to about 10 and a half, 11 cents, we got another resistance, but another clean candle run. So it's printing a ton of clean candles, which I love. I love clean, easy candles. No mess, no nasty shit involved. Just straight up candles breaking. Now we could see some resistance start to form on the lower time frames around here, but you may want to see a candle close above about 9.3 cents, 0.93 cents, whatever the fuck you want to say. Around this area, you might want to see price break and close above here first before getting involved. If getting involved now is too risky for you or does not offer the type of risk or reward you would like to see, you can wait for a candle to break and close above this area and then trade higher into almost 9.7 cents. All right, and that's it. That's all we're looking like. Until some bullish or some bearish PA starts to develop, I'm not looking to short anything. So you're not going to get any shorts out of me right now. Right? So, yeah. All right, man. I don't really have anything else to say, anything else to go over. I feel like I've pretty much covered everything that I needed to or that I'm looking at. This is my thoughts. This is how I'm processing the charts right now. This is how I'm looking to enter my next trade ideas. Y'all may have different criteria. Y'all might have different rules for entry, different barriers to entry. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to look at things the way that I'm looking at them, but I'm telling you how I'm positioning myself currently in the way that I'm thinking about things moving forward over the next coming weeks and next coming month or so, right? So, yeah, there you have it, man. That's kind of my thoughts on everything right now. That's how I see things as they stand at this very moment at 9:08 p.m. on August 4th. That is how I am seeing it. Until I see something develop in a way that makes me change my bias, I will not change my bias. And yeah, all right, man. That's gonna do it. We'll see what Tuesday brings us. I will be waiting. Oh god damn! I just fucking. Anyway, fuck, bro. I just pulled a nail. That shit hurts. We'll wait until New York session, more than likely. See what retardo Trump has to say. If he's got any tweets to put out that might nuke the charts or whatever the fuck. Maybe he puts out a tweet that fucking pumps the charts. I have some pause in getting involved right now because retardo Trump's retardo son, retardo Trump Jr., came out and told us that it's a great time to buy Bitcoin and ETH again. And last time he did that, price fucking dumped 40% before it rebounded. So I don't trust either of these retards to be fucking transparent and honest or helpful in any way. They are greedy, slimy, blood-sucking, leech fucking dick-headed assholes. And that's all they're ever going to be. So take what they say with a grain of salt. And really, fuck what news you hear. Trade what the chart is telling you. The chart will tell you what's going to happen before the news will tell you what's going to happen. Or what is likely to happen, right? So, yeah, that's how I see things right now. Until anything develops differently, that's how we can kind of look at the charts. I will come back on midweek to see how we have developed. Unless something just crazy happens before then, like we get some stupid expansion tomorrow, then I'll come back on tomorrow and we can talk about how things are looking then. But otherwise, that'll do it for me until midweek. I hope that you all have a wonderful week trading. I hope that you've had a wonderful last couple of months trading. And I hope that the rest of the year for you and for your trading journey goes smoothly and is efficient, and that you're learning a lot and that you're applying and that you're not being a retard and that you're not being an idiot and full porting anything because you think that price cannot go down lower in a bull market. It absolutely can, and that just happened. to end July. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching. If you have any comments, drop a comment in the comment section. I will read all of them. If you have any suggestions or any coins in particular that y'all would like me to look at, let me know. I will absolutely look at them for you. And yeah, man, till next time, peace.